Good afternoon. The world is worried about what's going to happen to man-made pollution now that Trump has been elected. It's as if the whole of science is focused on man-made global warming. And I want to focus on a different type of man-made pollution. And that's the pollution of schmutz, of smut. You can't look at a news site, you can't look at the news and television without being bombarded by sexual images. The most conservative and hence, for most of us religious old fogies, the most conducive place to watch the news would be on Fox News. Unfortunately, all the men are dressed in ties and suits, and the women are exposed. Their knees are exposed, their necklines are exposed, they wear no sleeves. What's the purpose? The purpose is obvious. You're trying to sell your product using sexual attraction. But is this good? Is this what is beneficial for mankind? You have to ask yourself, the world has had televisions and has had movies for a little bit over a century. I'm talking about movies and radio, radio close to a century, movies for more than a century, television for about, 85, 90 years. What has been the net result of all of that? Net result of all of that has been the proliferation of schmutz, man-made schmutz, poisoning the atmosphere of the human mind and the human condition, glorifying sexuality, removing responsibility, promoting all kinds of alternative lifestyles. And that result of all of that has been a proliferation of children born out of wedlock, a demeaning of the family and the family unit, and the destruction of many parts of our society, reducing them to helplessness and, in some cases, hopelessness. It's time to end man-made pollution of the mind. Pollution of the mind is the worst filth and poisoning that can possibly happen to a human being. All of the global warming idiots, scientists out there, warn that the ice is going to melt, and the Maldives will disappear, and New York will be inundated with 20 feet of water. That's what's going to happen to Miami Beach and all of those wonderful beach coastal cities that people go to and pay enormous amounts of money to vacation in. And I ask you, so what? There's plenty of space going to be left in the world. If you have more water and you use more desalination, you'll be able to live in the deserts, make the deserts bloom, and live there comfortably and peacefully. What's the big deal? But pornography, posing around as ordinary advertisements, the free, open selling of immorality on the television, in the movies, and in the media, all cause destruction and ultimately death for the human being. There is nothing glorious about getting AIDS. There is nothing happy about being addicted on drugs. Saying that a person is naughty and he does drugs and has a lot of partners and glorifying that essentially tells kids that's okay, and that the end result of all of that is addiction, a lack of commitment, a lack of family life, diseases, death and destruction that comes from the destruction of family structure and the honor of people who deserve to be honored. This is the worst poisoning that exists, not carbon dioxide, not carbon monoxide, not methane gas, not the aerosol sprays. The worst poisoning to the environment is the smut that pervades not just the internet, but the television waves, the radio waves, movies. Global warming is not our number one problem. The perversion of global minds is the number one problem. And the problem is that if somebody says something about it, he's labeled as a crazy old codger. Okay, call me a crazy old codger. But it still is the number one problem. The number one problem of pollution is the pollution of the human mind.